Final preparations are underway as the nation's capital prepares to bid farewell to former President Jimmy Carter, who died last month at the age of 100. NBC's Chris Pallone joins us now live from Washington with more. Chris, good morning.
Yeah, Dave, good morning to you. Friends and fans of former President Jimmy Carter have spent the past 3 days paying their respects in his home state of Georgia. But today, the nation's 39th president returns to Washington for the final time.
A blanket of white covers the nation's capital after a rare snowstorm, an idyllic backdrop to bid a final farewell to a former president. The body of Jimmy Carter will arrive in Washington later today after mourners by the thousands have paid their respects in his home state of Georgia.
He changed my life and he changed the world. And if any of us can be a fraction of that kind of contribution to mankind, we will be very blessed.
Carter's state funeral, the next high-profile, high-security event in Washington in a month filled with them. The first, the certification of the 2024 election in a joint session of Congress.
Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Vice President Kamala Harris presided over the certification, which made official her election loss to Donald Trump. Tall fences surrounded the Capitol with hundreds of officers on guard. The count and certification lasted just 40 minutes. A stark contrast to what happened 4 years ago when a pro-Trump mob stormed the Capitol and disrupted the proceedings for hours.
One of the most important pillars of our democracy is that there will be a peaceful transfer of power.
A transfer of power which concludes in less than 2 weeks with the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump.
And a horse-drawn caisson will take President Carter's casket from the U.S. Navy Memorial on Pennsylvania Avenue up to the U.S. Capitol, where he will lie in state until the national funeral service on Thursday. Dave?
And Chris, what can you tell us about members of Carter's family walking alongside his casket to the Capitol?
Yeah, that is a possibility today. After he arrives at Joint Base Andrews, a hearse will take him to the U.S. Navy Memorial, and then again he will be transferred to that horse-drawn caisson. The family has the option to walk along with him about a little less than a mile from the Navy Memorial up to the Capitol. You remember famously back in 1977 that Jimmy and Rosalind Carter walked from his inauguration at the Capitol all the way down to the White House, down Pennsylvania Avenue. So now the Carter family might be walking up Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol to evoke the memory of that time back in 1977.
All right, Chris Pallone live for us in Washington, D.C. this morning. Chris, thank you.